This is the new Toyota GR86. It's a small rear-wheel drive manual sports car. Cost you about £27,750. It's got 230 horsepower. This is the new BMW M3 Touring. It's a big all-wheel drive estate car with 510 horsepower from a straight six. It's an automatic and it'll cost you £85,000, although £3,000 of that's the paint, so call it 80. On the face of it, these cars have absolutely nothing to do with each other, but I am going to convince you that they are exactly the same. Okay, I know what you're thinking. If these two cars weren't obviously fun, why on earth would we even be talking about them? What's the point of making them? But I'd argue that it's a slightly trickier prospect than that. Take this, the BMW M3 Touring. It weighs 1.8 tons. And while the standard car is obviously extremely good, when you add a great big bum at the back and ask that it can carry your furniture around, suddenly you're actually set with the task of making this enjoyable and not, in fact, just the fastest lardy car in the world. Or the GR86, which only weighs 1.2 tons, but only has 230 horsepower, which is less than half of that you find in the M3, but only 500 kilograms less. So can this actually be any fun? Good thing here, both manufacturers have absolutely managed to pull rabbits from hats. The GR86 is just wildly entertaining fun. Switch the traction control off because, absolutely believe me, you do not need it on, and it is just delightful. A strong front end and a rear end that's just willing to wave around at whatever angle you wish it to and join in. It really is just some of the most fun you will ever have on four wheels. I have to admit to having been incredibly wrong about this car and all the M3 family, because when I drove the rear-wheel drive M4, I thought there was absolutely no way you wanted anything other than that two-wheel drive monster. Boy, was I wrong, because the way this thing's four-wheel drive system works is astonishing, and not in that, oh, I'm living on rails and I'll just go from A to B as if nothing else is in the way, but in a way that makes you feel just astonishing. In its four-wheel drive sport mode, it sends power to the back and you can just lay it out there at everything you want. When you get the tail to wag, it just feels so satisfying, but it fills you with confidence because you know the front end can be there as well and to drag everything back in. And then, at the end of all that, if you are willing to come to me and say, I still want two-wheel drive, I still do not like this four-wheel drive system, you know what? You can stick it in two-wheel drive mode and it will do that. This is basically the car for all seasons. So, they're both fun, but did you know that they are also perfectly excellent practical machines? Just look at the M3 and tell me in some way that that is not practical. It's massive. It can fit pretty much the entire cast of, I don't know, the Rings of Power, and then also a Billy bookcase at the back. But then, I have to admit that I'm not married. I don't have any children. I don't own a dog. I don't actually play golf. So all I need is to be able to fit a cat. And actually, I'm pretty sure it's fine. I mean, just look at this one. It's fabulous. And then there's this one. It's fabulous too. Another thing the same in both of these cars is that their engines are, well, pretty much the last in the line of legendary petrol motors. This one has a four-cylinder boxer. In fact, it's got a Subaru four-cylinder boxer engine up front, and that was the engine that propelled so many of the cars that got me into liking this kind of machine that, well, how can you not love this kind of thing? And it doesn't exactly sing with the sonorous roar of the greatest machines that have ever lived, but it's got a wonderful torque band between 4,000 and 6,000 RPM, and the GR86 is very deliberately on skinny rubber, so you don't need a massive amount of power to break traction, and that's what makes this car so incredibly good. So, actually, it's a bloody brilliant thing. And then there's the M3, which is powered by a great big traditional BMW straight six that just absolutely sings you the song of its people delivering power all the way up to its rev line somewhere near 7,000 RPM, the kind of engine that we will miss very, very soon. Colour, blue. That one, Portimao blue. That one, sapphire blue pearl. All right, so why are we all here? What is the point? Why are we bringing together what, at the end of the day, are slightly different but very blue cars? Well, there is one thing that they both most definitely are, and that is cars that enthusiasts will clamour for over and over and over again. Beyond manual versions of performance cars, I don't think there's any car you can hear clamours more for than for BMW to finally build an estate version of the M3, or for there to be a new small sports car. Perhaps just those people looking for a manual version of performance car, but other than that, this is what the chatter is about over and over and over and over again, and here they are. They exist. There may only be two of them, but they're here. How do we make sure that they continue to exist, though? Well, that's down to you lot. You have to buy them. If you want them, you're going to have to come back, put your money down, and buy them. And that leads us on to the final important question. Which one of these two cars would I buy? Because they are both absolutely sodding brilliant. Well, I think I'm going to need a little bit more time to decide.